Texan?
Yeah, unfortunately not quite. He was tracking really well at the start of the week, and he was quite confident he'd get himself up to play. Actually, in a weight session, the boys normally throw a few weights around this morning. He just found he wasn't moving as well as he'd like. There's still a little bit of soreness there that he's not going to be anywhere near ready to play. The fact that he didn't get out on the track this morning, we were always going to err on that cautious side with it, but he was really confident early in the week, so he's disappointed. He wants to go down, wants to play every game he possibly can and get amongst the younger group, but it looks like we come into a 9-day break next week. I think it'd be silly for us to try and push too hard with him at the moment, and in the end it was his decision this morning.
So make a call late next week, or you should expect him to be okay for the Eagles game?
If it continues to track how it is, we'd like to think he's right to go for the Eagles. But again, it's an unusual one. It's one we're not going to flirt with too much. He's still got some soreness there. He had a side strain that after, I've got to get my days right now, Tuesday session, came off the track and felt a little bit sore through the side. Now, whether that was something he hadn't picked up from the game because there was so much stiffness in his neck, we're not sure. But the body's not quite where it needs to be for him to perform at the moment, so he won't make the trip with us.
How much is the side strain contributing as well to the decision?
Oh, look, it's an overall feeling of how he moved on Tuesday. He was out on the track in amongst, did the full session with the group. It was a lighter session, but it's an overall feeling from the player as well as what we're seeing, as well as the experts in the docs and physios, that the risk is too high for us to play him and for him to perform.
So who comes in?
We haven't actually named. Well, we don't have to name the squad until 5 o'clock tonight. So we'll take our full squad across, and we'll fly. Well, hopefully we'll fly one back to play SNFL on Saturday. But I'd like to keep that one if I can for now, just because our opposition will name. But we might go a little smaller ahead of the ball. But I might have just said that as a bit of a distraction as well.
Was the Blues v Whites any indication?
It may have been a small one.
Right, Luke Brown. Obviously he's out. How tricky is that going to be to manage him? Will it be in one week out the other, or will you take it longer term?
Well, it has been to this point where we've had moments where we've rested him. So he's had the Achilles soreness. It's been ongoing, and he's managed that throughout the year. It's to a point now where we're starting to look at his medium, longer term outlook. We don't want to do the wrong thing there and grind him through the rest of the season. He's really important to what we're doing because he's an experienced player down back. We've got a young back line. He takes probably the toughest role every week for us. He leads with his voice out on the field. So he's important, but his body's also important, and he'll be really important for us in 2022. So we're going to make a decision around that. He's going to consult another expert on it. There is a chance he goes in for surgery. Again, we want to make the right decision there. We don't want to do that too early, but we also want 2022 for him to be a successful year. And the longer you wait on something like an Achilles, the more it goes into next year as well. So we'll see what the experts say. My last conversation with Brownie was both of us felt that it's probably more than likely he gets something done on it.
Do you know what the surgery would do? Is that too far?
You're asking the wrong person, and I haven't got my head around exactly what the surgery involves. But what it would do, hopefully, is take away the management that's required at the moment for him.
How big a loss are those two players ahead of tomorrow?
Well, from a games played point of view, they're huge. And it's either end of the ground. It's a young forward line. It's a young back line without those two in. In saying that, it's an opportunity for another player. And we've talked a lot this year about the squad that we have. We've got a really strong squad. We've got a really tight group. Spots are actually hard to get. We've got Darcy Fogarty playing in our reserves at the moment. And we've talked about rotating that squad and playing different players through that if your form's there, you'll deserve the spot. I guess things like this create an opportunity, and this is footy. This is what happens at a footy club. You have injuries to certain players, and others get opportunities, and they step up into those. And sometimes playing at the higher level suits some players. So to see some of these guys get an opportunity, we'll take Ben Davis across with us just to give you a one. Benny Davis has been playing some really good footy at SNFL level and hasn't quite had the opportunity. He may get a look this week depending on how things shape over the next 24 hours. That's the example that we're looking at there, the opportunities we'd love for our players to get, and he may show something at a higher level if he gets that opportunity. So.
Is Tom Lynch ready?
Tom's good, so Tom's training. Got a little bit of DOMS from the weekend, so just some soreness, general soreness around his body. Trained again today. He'll play again. When you say ready, he and the club, we want him to get another game under his belt, and similar to what we're doing with Murphy at the moment, or what we did with Murphy, which was get him 2 really solid games, one slightly under from a percentage of game time. Then last week he got himself around the footy, played on ball, played full game time. And as now said, hand up, I'm ready to play. Lynch is very similar. It'll be one we don't rush. We want to see Lynchy play footy before the year's out, and he's probably tracking ahead of where we thought he was going to be. We thought maybe 4 or 5 games. He's now got the opportunity to play in 6 or 7. So he'll play this week in Sandford down at Victor, and then we'll see how he goes pulling up from that, whether we look at him the next week.
How about Matt Crouch? He was moving pretty well out there.
He was moving too well today. It was a captain's run for AFL, and it was a full session for the SNFL. So we had to slow him down out there a couple of times, which is a great sign. He's eager. He's missed footy. It's a really tough thing to do, to be in rehab and not. You are part of the group, but you're sort of separated for a lot of the training sessions. So it was great to see him out there. At the moment, I think we're hoping he plays in the next few weeks. Again, that one's very much, as our physio would say, it's a bouncing ball. We just see, how does he pull up from today? He'll have another session on the weekend. How does he pull up from that session? And we continue to build. But talking to him, he's feeling really good. He's confident. He's now excited about playing footy. So I'm sure we'll see him soon.
What's your message to Fogg if he's been overlooked again?
Just to continue to work on his game. Just work on his game. And I've mentioned the word squad. It's an opportunity for someone else, which means Fogg has got to go back and play consistent footy at SNFL. And when he does go back and play there, he gets different opportunities. He plays a number of roles. He gets up around the footy. So he's in charge of his own destiny there. If he wants to get himself on the ball, he goes and plays and smashes into some bodies. Then go back and play the role you're going to play at AFL, which is forward of the ball. By no means is he in bad form. We're looking for a slightly different dynamic ahead of the ball. We did last week. Did we get that? The question's still out. We'll have a look again this weekend, and then we'll make some calls again on it. But we'll continue to rotate that group on who we believe is going to help us win the game on the weekend.
On your squad, is sort of last chance for Benny Davis? Like, he debuted in Geelong, a tough one. I reckon he's played one other game since then. He hasn't been able to break in a couple of years. Is this a critical moment for him?
Yeah, it is. And when you say last chance, Benny's career could go on elsewhere. It could be here. But this is that opportunity that Benny's now got to show that I should be here going forward. Just to give you an idea of Ben Davis, off-field elite, just energy, passion for his teammates. He's all about team, so he gives everything. It's the on-field footy when he gets to that AFL level. If he does get that chance, if he can grab that and show us that, look, I can play at this level, then we would love to have him on at this footy club going forward. That's the industry, though, and Benny knows it. He and I have openly spoken about. Here it is. Here's the chance. It's a tough one. It's like, don't feel the pressure, mate, but this is where it's at. But no, he's done so well. At a sample level, we've changed his role. He's playing at half-back. Proud of what he's done. I really enjoyed what he's done this last couple of months. I hope he gets the opportunity. I hope he performs for everyone.
Coming off Brisbane, who are obviously elite in the competition at the moment, where do you rate the Bombers? How do you see them as a side?
At their best, they're very, very hard to beat. you know, they're a different side to Brisbane. We knew that Brizzy was going to be a real contest, you know, in and under. If we let Essendon have too much space, they'll cut us up. So it's a big challenge for us, and they're in good form. And they've got, you know, some young midfielders that are playing some great football at the moment. So we know that that's where the game's going to be won and lost. Our midfield group are really looking forward to that challenge. You know, they've just signed those guys on, locked them away for the future, so they'll be pretty excited about where they're going as a footy club, as they should be. And it's Friday night, so we've had a number of guys who've had a haircut and they've got themselves ready. It's big time Friday night under the lights. Our group are really excited about playing a big game against a good side.
And Will Hamill, pretty pleasing, another signing. How
Yeah.
do you see his progression?
Yeah, Will for another few years. Oh, look, progressing as you'd expect. You know, a young halfback. It's a challenging position. He's learning every week. He's you know, went back to the SNFL last weekend, and we thought showed that now he's above the SNFL from a level point of view. He's got confidence that he can play at AFL level. We'd like to see him have that similar mentality at AFL, and that's going to take time. That's playing games of football. That's experiencing making mistakes at AFL, learning from them, coming out and the game slowing down for him. There's no doubt at SNFL the game's a lot slower now as far as he perceives it, and he looks really comfortable back there. We're hoping that we can fast track that at an AFL level, and you start to see a Will Hamill who's really composed and uses the ball well. We see it in patches at this point, but that's his work on.
Last
What
couple of
was
guys were just
Josh
top.
Worrell, the Adelaide training today?
Yeah, Joshy slept in, unfortunately. So, good lesson. We had a good chat about it. I think there was an alarm going off near his house and kept him up for most of the night, a car alarm. He was out checking his own car. I think he loves his own car. Look, we all make mistakes, and every now and then, you know, I totally understand that. We had a good chat about it. As long as you're not up gaming till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm okay with it. So he'll do a little bit extra now, make sure he does the right thing though, and preps for the weekend.
Was he facing?
No, don't cost him anything.
Sorry, with how do you think Alistair Clarkson coming back on the market, I guess, in a way, is going to affect the senior coaching fraternity? Do you think that people might be starting to get a bit nervous that, you know, big fish is kind of, you know, available again in a way?
I look, a massive amount of respect for Alistair Clarkson. He's obviously a really experienced coach. I think what we've seen across the industry is that, you know, coaches, the really good ones, they stay around. Whether that's in a head coaching position or whether that's in another position, we seem to be adding a lot more to the development space. You know, it seems to be becoming a lot more important that you've got that area right. It doesn't necessarily mean when a head coach is finished at one club, they're going to do the same job at another, but it's probably the answer I'm going to give you on that one. Not sure where else you want me to go with it.
You better run, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.